What's good, people? It's Kay, and today we're reacting to RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 4. I'm trying out a whole bunch of different settings, different as opposed to how I've normally done the first 3 episodes, so don't be surprised if this is a complete disaster. I'm also going to be putting this together in a different way. An entirely different way as well. Just looking for ways to improve the overall quality. Again, it could just all blow up in my face and we'll end up where we were last week and the weeks before. Ah, the song is really good. Here we go, I guess.
You should have seen the look on Joanna's face. I don't think she'd ever lost a fight before that. At least, not fair and square. Tough crowd tonight. Guess Ironwood should have paid for better cell block entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And he smiles. Did I win?
Hey, it's your game. I don't make the rules.
Damn, Crow.
I'm sorry for what happened. It wasn't your fault.
Yes, it was. Yes,
I
thank
made
you.
a deal with the darkness, and he paid the price.
Yes.
It's all happening so fast, but Clover wouldn't let up. Could have worked together against Tyrion if Clover just... But the thing that really stings, for the first time in a while, I thought, maybe I could be around somebody, anybody, without my semblance making it complicated.
Oh, I was waiting for this.
And now, it just feels like a childish dream. Gone. Like everybody else.
Believe it or not,
That's what I wanted to hear.
I know a little of what that's like. When people are worried you're gonna sniff out their secrets, they tend to push you away. It makes a real connection difficult.
I never thought of it that way.
Well, he's
You
done.
don't get to keep that.
I didn't kill him.
You keep saying that. But it was your weapon covered in his blood.
If you really want to know what happened, Mohawk, why not open the cell and take my hand?
Or the nicknames.
If I open this cell, it won't be to shake hands.
Yeah, because you don't care about the truth. You just want someone to be mad at. Easier than taking an honest look at what side you're on.
Yo, what was I saying?
Air, what are you doing?
She's so annoying.
Nothing.
She's so annoying.
Well, that was almost exciting.
I like that scene.
It's going to lose us in these mountains.
Now we have these fools. Oh. Gotta bail.
I don't know how much longer these bikes can stand the cold.
I'm really wishing one of us could fly right now.
Wait, hold on. Ren,
What are you gonna
I'm
try?
going to get you up there.
Okay.
Nice!
I feel like Spider-Man. Ouch.
Okay, not as nice.
Slowing him down. Hold on, Ren. I don't have much of a choice.
Oh boy. Oh my god. I'm finding him so hilarious this season. I don't know why. Oh,
Did it just call for backup?
it sure did. This really is some video game shit. Gotta bail. The sky is falling, bro. Quick thinking. But wow, he let him go. Hello there. They went here.
You've picked a fine time to...
Not another word. We're coming in.
Things are already bad enough after what you did to Father. Now you want us to harbor fugitives too? Our family has a reputation.
That's what you're worried about?
What
Your
sort of reputation is that right
I'm
now?
just saying that we've already lost all the house staff. And Mother locked herself in her room.
Maybe you haven't figured out what's going on, Whitley, but we're busy trying to save Atlas.
Look, our friend is hurt. We just need a place to lay low while she rests, and then we'll be out of your way.
Fine. What do you expect me to do then?
Go to your room.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
This way.
So I'm gonna close the door.
Ruby,
I hope everyone's doing all right.
if you're worried about Yang, you could always try calling her.
That's the thing. I did.
I repeat, if anybody can hear me. We need transport back to Mantle.
And then some.
We need to get out of this weather before the cold drops our ores completely. How much farther to the outpost? Ren, how much?
I don't know.
I thought you said you saw it when you were up in the air.
Is it about
I
to blow
did.
up?
Before I had to cut myself loose to help you guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, you've brought that up a couple times now. Something you need to say?
Not really. Wouldn't want to waste any more time.
Damn.
Hey, what is your deal?
Don't worry about it.
Well, I'm sorry things aren't going smoothly enough for you.
Guys, they're not going smoothly at all.
I hate to break it to you, but that's part of being a huntsman.
Are you kidding? We don't know the first thing about being huntsmen. We clearly weren't ready. Guys, stop it.
Were we not ready when we saved Haven? When we took down a Leviathan? We got the lamp to Atlas.
And then we lost it. And after that, when we had to make real decisions, we got every single one wrong.
I'm not going to pretend like we did everything perfectly. But if we'd done nothing, things would be even worse than they are now.
How could they possibly be worse? We are stuck out here while Salem has the lamp and Oscar. We've got no plan, no army.
We've got the Maiden.
And by keeping her from opening the vault for Ironwood, we're just trapping the whole city for Salem. People are going to die because of us.
So what, we should just give Ironwood what he wants? Abandon Mantle? You think Atlas is still gonna be able to float to safety now that she's here?
I don't know, but these aren't the kinds of decisions we should be making because we have no idea what we're doing.
Okay, both of you, cut it out.
I'm just saying what nobody else wants to. We're in way over our heads. Ruby is barely more than a kid. I'm just an orphan from the middle of nowhere.
Ren, I am-
You cheated your way into Bacon!
Wow, he said it. He's really feeling the pressure, huh? That was a bit uncalled for, though.
You don't think we should be huntsmen? Fine. But I'm getting out of the cult. Still got a job to do.
Seriously, is your goal just to push everyone away?
It's rough, buddy.
Oscar, don't panic. We're going to be okay.
Don't panic.
What?
Oh dear.
My long-lost Ozma. Found at last. So small, this new host of yours. It's a wonder my hound didn't break you.
Gave it his best shot.
It's been how many years since we saw each other like this, face to face? And nothing to say?
I'm sorry the reunion isn't living up to your expectations.
You can pretend, boy. But you're not fully him. Not yet, at least. Well, perhaps you and I can have a better working relationship. Oscar, was it? The beacon relic. My forces have been unable to locate the relic beneath the school. If I know my Ozma, he has used some means of deception to hide its location differently than the others.
I mean, I could have told you that.
I need to know where it is.
That's not something I know about.
Of course. You would keep that one guarded as long as possible. How about something easier then?
Yay.
The password for the lamp.
The lamp is all out of questions.
Well.
Lies come out of you so easily. Like-minded souls, indeed. One of you is going to tell me what you know. I don't much care if it is you or Ozma. Either way, I'll finally have the relic.
I won't tell you anything.
Hazel?
Wait. That was for Haven Academy.
He needs some milk!
Damn, bro.
Everything that follows will be for my sister.
Jeez.
Your Grace, What is that?
An experiment. So far, I am pleased with the results.
Yes.
Did you need something, Cinder?
Yes. I want to search for the Winter Maiden. I think...
Do you hear
Back
that,
on
my
this.
pet? She thinks.
She thinks.
Wants. As if she's done something that warrants me caring about either of those things.
We're just sitting and waiting. Without the Maiden power, the Vault means nothing. Let me claim it for you.
I will tell you when and where you are needed.
But Your Grace...
I'd like to think I have shown a great deal of patience over my many years walking Remnant. But I do hate repeating myself. You will remain here. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes, of course. Without you, I am nothing. I know what she said. I just want to check on something. We'll be back before anyone realizes.
Disagree. Strongly doubt.
I want to see if anything is still going on at Amity Coliseum.
Hey, just gonna float
Salem
down
doesn't
like
know
that.
those children like I do. they wouldn't just abandon their misguided attempt to save the world.
You're right about that.
If she doesn't want to, I'll come. I've
Emerald.
been working on my semblance. I can help. I won't tell anybody.
She's really out here trying to please Mom like
How
that.
much did you overhear?
You're right, Ren. I did cheat my way into Beacon. And I'm glad I had people around me to help me see that I was bigger than that mistake. You've got people around you too. You don't have to force yourself to be strong. The more you hide from what you're feeling, the more alone you're going to feel. Trust me.
He's just leaving. Wow.
If anyone cares, I found a part to fix the bike. So, yay! Good news.
That's all they want to hear.
For what it's worth, I'm sorry he said that to you. I know you've had to work hard to get here, Jean.
We're all under a lot of stress right now. I used to push people away too.
Do you think she thinks less of me for not helping out with Amity?
Ruby is your sister. She's always going to love you, even if you disagree with each other.
Yeah. Ruby.
We know who she was talking about, though.
I need to get some sleep.
Don't we?
I can't stop thinking about Oscar.
Go on. I'll make sure Ren doesn't brood himself to death out in the cold.
Good luck with that.
Thanks. I just have a bad feeling. Things always seem to get worse before they get better.
What the fuck is happening now? Oh my goodness. It felt like there was so much packed into this episode. It feels like the show's firing on all cylinders right now, when you think about this episode and last week's as well. When I say this was really good stuff, I mean that this was really good stuff. It didn't have the constant moments of humor like the last episode, but it didn't miss them either. I mean, I was low-key dreading going back to seeing more of Yang's team, just because I thought it was going to be more repressed emotion and leaving us hanging. But it seems I was wrong. It feels like rather than treading those waters, we instead found the emotional ceiling, or indeed the floor, of what this storyline could be, and everything kind of spilled out from it. It's not resolved either, but if you think about it, Ren and Yang and Crow, to a separate point, have been harboring these negative emotions for what seems like such a long time now. So just seeing them each lay it all out there feels like such a release, even though none of them reconciled those emotions. Again, even without the humor, the drama was so well executed that I never found the episode to drag at any point. And that means something, especially when I think about the second episode, which dragged quite a bit. If I'm grasping for an early theme to take away from this episode, it's the idea of coming clean, or of the truth acting as a savior, or in some cases here as just an agent of change. Crow's truth was an important and heartbreaking step, not just in his journey to face his culpability in Clover's death, but also in his personal journey to settle on the identity he wants to embody. Right now, he's at a hopeless point, yeah? After all, why believe in the possibility of something better for yourself if the one person you'd met who cancelled out your bad luck winds up dead because of a rash decision you made? And this particular journey is one he's been on for a long time. He's always painted himself as a world-weary cynic, but his relationship with Clover showed him as more than that. Not only has Clover's death seemed to confirm his original way of seeing both himself and the world, but his involvement in Clover's death has just compounded it. I really needed to hear him say what he said in this episode, because it more or less confirms what I felt was going on in their fight with Tyrion. Tyrion manipulated him, and he lost his damn mind in the heat of the situation. Now, it does not erase the issues I have with that fight. While the psychology and ideas that served as the story beats for the fight are very valid, the composition and execution of it all was pretty clumsy. But by having Crow actually say these things, to have him say that he regrets not teaming up with Clover to fight Tyrion in the first place, that he wishes Clover had let up so they could have worked together. This sort of stuff is absolutely necessary to land the plane here, and now it puts him on a more rigid path, apparently to kill Ironwood, if we are to believe what he said in that second episode. Ren was the other side of this, or maybe not the other side, maybe just another example, a different example of the impact that truth can have. Now, this episode made him look like a bit of a punk, but I can kind of feel where he's coming from, in a broad sense. And part of it is just a larger product of his personality, which is a guy who has lost a lot of important things in his life and deeply wants to protect what he still has, even to the point where he seems like he would just give himself up in the process. But in the broad sense, he is speaking to a real point of the wider series. The protagonists tended to win a lot in the 4th, 5th, and 6th seasons. They ended up winning their conflicts just about every time, in no small part because the conflicts they faced were easier to understand, like the Haven conspiracy, the White Fang nonsense, an angry TSA lady, or just some Grimm. Once they landed in Mantle and Atlas, everything got muddy very quickly. And because their prospects have only gone downhill since then, it's easy to see Ren's argument that they aren't equipped to handle these more complex situations. I previously thought that he was just turning into a jackboot military guy, driven by a strong desire to protect those close to him, and it seems I was just half right. Rather than that desire driving him to push his emotions away and transform into a ruthless mercenary, it must just be really exacerbating his fear. It seems that with every event that goes sideways, he loses more and more faith, and his fear just keeps rising. And now it is manifested into this thought of his that everything they're doing, every decision they're making, is doomed to fail. And as far as he's concerned, this truth is the only one that matters. Everyone else be damned. If he is to snap out of this thinking, he has to reach his own conclusions and challenge his own fears. His way of thinking isn't necessarily wrong, it's just that he won't pull away from it to see the other side. Let's move on to some observations, yes? So what happened with Watts? They just brought him back and dumped him on the floor? Are they trying to make it look like he isn't working with them? Or did something genuinely go wrong and Ironwood isn't messing with him anymore? I have a hard time believing that one, just because we haven't seen it, so I would probably lean towards them all trying to make it look normal. But why would they care what Jock, Robin, and Crow thought about the arrangement? Why would they care to the point where they need to fabricate a play like that? Maybe Ironwood got what he needed from Watts and decided he didn't need him anymore? Now that I think about it, that might well be the answer. Or close to it at least. It just feels like we're missing a link in the chain here, but it will probably end up being a simple explanation. I would love to see Robin and Harriet fight, just to see Robin humble Harriet. I don't think it would happen though. Robin's fighting style doesn't have a lot of depth, you know, and it all just seems very dependent on her very limited weapon. So unless she's secretly Floyd Mayweather in close range, I think Harriet could probably handle her without too many issues. Speaking of which, what are the chances that Robin and Crow just break out without ever facing interrogation? You would think that as an inventor living in the coldest part of the known world, you would build your inventions so that they would be able to withstand extreme cold. Even our real-world cars are tested at almost Arctic temperatures, but hey, maybe these bikes were just prototypes that Pietro hadn't gotten around to stress testing like that. I just found it interesting. As unnecessary as it was, I did like the chase scene. Having Ren swinging from the hound like Spider-Man was unintentionally hilarious, like I have found most Ren things this season. The hound calling for backup, you had Yang and Jean having to improvise at every turn just to keep pace. It was all very entertaining, and good on Ren coming back for his team like that. Wasn't exactly sure that he would, and just kidding, of course, but it's been that kind of season with him. Just looking thoroughly irritated by everything around him. Weiss really told Whitley to go to his room. That's crazy, and he did it too. My sister would slap me if I told her to go to her room like that, and I would almost certainly deserve it. Then again, comparing anyone to Whitley Schnee is giving him a lot of credit. Salem is legitimately intimidating in her scene with Oscar. This is one of the few times we've actually seen her be hands-on with something or someone, and the direction did a great job of emphasizing her power, making her seem just so imposing. Meanwhile, Oscar is facing yet another example of the power of truth, or rather the power of people trying to beat and flay and laser the truth out of him. This kid is 14, and he is taking the sort of punishment that I would not wish on anyone in my life. All I can say is, hang in there, buddy. Cinder is really out here, trying to make moves without Salem's permission. I'm really intrigued about where all this setup is heading. Is there really going to be a Cinder-Salem fight in the near future? I've thought for a few years now that we would get it eventually, but with the situation as it currently is, I would love to know how Cinder plans to wriggle out of this one. And I would just advise her to tread carefully. By the way, I do test recordings before I record my reactions to new episodes just to make sure my settings are right, and I use the previous week's episodes as an analog in these tests. So when I was doing my test before this reaction, it was by using Chapter 3, and in recording that test I realized that not only will Penny be heading to Amity, Pietro and Maria will be there as well, and now Cinder's sneaking away to Amity with Emerald and Neo in tow. I hate to say that I'm seeing death flags popping up for Penny here, because why would you bring her back and make her the maiden just to kill her off again? But at the very least, that subplot seems to be headed for a very sticky confrontation. That's not even factoring in Watts and Ironwood's potential interference. And just look at Emerald, trying so desperately to please her mother. I mean, her Cinder. Oh, child. So, Yang was definitely referring to Blake, right? All that stuff about does she think less of me? It's a bit weird because she didn't exactly interact with Blake before they split into their teams, but I'm still here for it. Anything that makes reference to their relationship. I want to know the significance of the ice cracking. Is it purely metaphorical? Or is there a giant grim underneath it? Like, remember how the Wyvern Vale was encased in that mountain? Could it be something like that? In closing, Fault appears to be one of those episodes that RWBY has been building towards. It pays off tensions years in the making, but rather than simply putting a bow on the feelings of characters like Ren and Crow, this episode chooses to build on top of them, taking their respective arcs further down the darker and most logical paths. It is an episode that suggests, while yes, the truth may set you free, it is also up to you to take those first steps of freedom. Overall, this episode reminds us of the value of consequence, those shadows lingering behind us, while also warning us of the forks in the roads ahead. Jean's final quote at the end of the episode is, "Things always seem to get worse before they get better." To that, and to you all, I say, strap yourselves in. So that's how I'm feeling about it. Excited to see the season picking up some real momentum after a bit of a slow start. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.